In this video I'm going to talk you through my 12 marathons in 12 months challenge, including a few events in between. It was a real challenge in itself just to stay injury free and marathon ready all year round. But first, before we start, I'm going to share with you some of the essential kit I wore for these events. I'll post a link to all events and kit for if anyone wants to check them out. The Hocker 5 road trainers, I wore a pair of these for every event this year. They have become my favourite trainer and I am now on pairs 5 and 6 of these trainers. The Gore 1985 Shake Dry Jacket. This jacket has served me well for many years now. Predominantly a cycle jacket, I love running in it as it is lightweight, breathable Gore-Tex and it packs down into its own pocket. The Instinct X10 litre is the ultimate racing and training vest. With many pockets on the front and lots of storage on the back, it's been a game changer for the longer runs. Now on to the events. First up is the Holly Challenge Marathon by How Hard Can It Be events. With other distances to choose from, the marathon is 32 laps around Lightmoor Nature Reserve on tarmac. It took me 4 hours and 18 minutes to complete. Everyone has a lap counter card to get punched every time you pass the feed station. As you'll see, I'll do many of the events by this company as they're no nonsense events and I enjoy all of them. The second marathon a year is the Icing on the Cake in 5 hours and 3 minutes. Trail running in the Shropshire Hills and over the Long Mynd. You've got the choices of 1 lap for a half marathon or 2 laps for the full marathon. I'd say this is the second hardest marathon I've ever done up to date. Over rugged countryside with great feed stations, this run starts and finishes in Cardinal Valley. For this race there is a basic kit list that everyone must carry. Everyone must carry a map of the area, a minimum of 500 millilitres of water and a basic first aid kit. They also have a cake competition, so if you take a cake along with you, you'll have a chance to win a prize. I wore road shoes for this event, but most wore trail shoes and I'd highly recommend doing this one in trail shoes. Third up is the Codopoly Marathon. This is a triple event in Shropshire. You can run 3 marathons over 3 days if you want, or any one of them on their own. It starts and finishes at the Unicorn Pub Inn in Telford and there's the choice of 8 miles, halfish marathon or a marathon distance. The marathon distance is 3 laps. This run takes you over Ironbridge alongside the River Severn. Beautiful scenic run with a check-in at the feed station at the Unicorn Inn on every lap. This marathon took me 4 hours and 17 minutes to complete. Between marathons 3 and 4, Laura and I ran the Stafford half marathon in 2 hours 35 minutes. Stafford half was my first half marathon back in 2012, but this year was Laura's first half marathon. This event is always a big highlight on the events calendar, attracting around 2,000 runners. With Stafford half marathon, you always get a top medal, a great technical t-shirt and a Brill goodie bag. Fourth on the list is the Tissington Trail Marathon, ran in 4 hours and 6 minutes. This is ran on a disused railway line from Ashbourne. It's a multi-terrain out and back run, so you run 13 miles one way, turn round and run back the same way. It's all traffic free and road shoes were fine for this event as the ground is all hard standing. This marathon has stunning scenery and a 6-hour cut-off time. Next up is another in-betweener, the CCTR relays. In teams of 4 we had to complete a 2-mile loop on Cannock Chase in a relay race to see which team could get the most laps done in 2.5 hours. We had a good turnout from our running club and it was really good fun this race. Fifth marathon of the year, the Windermere Marathon in 4 hours and 48 minutes. This is another one of my favourites. This one loop marathon circles the whole of Lake Windermere. It's very challenging but very scenic, and this year was warm, so every one of the 7 water stations was needed. We turned up the day before so we could do a bit of exploring and do a bit of rowing on the lake. With this event there's the option to enter the 10 in 10 where participants run the marathon 10 times over 10 days, with the 10th day being the main event. This year was a scorcher, so it was a refreshing relief to have a dip in the lake after the run. Marathon number 6, the Snickerthon. You all know Snickers used to be called marathons, right? As it happens, I love Snickers bars, and that's one of the reasons I love this race. and the 8 laps of the Chasewater Reservoir. I like that as well, to be fair. With the choice of different distances, you'll get the chance to see the wild deer that roam the area. This particular race took me 4 hours and 19 minutes to complete. On site of this scenic event, there are good toilets, a cafe and a great park for the kids to play on. Like the last marathon, we were still experiencing a heat wave. So when the job was done, it was another dip in the lake to cool off. Next up is another marathon in-betweener, the first ever Penkridge Runners 10K in partnership with the Penkridge Round Table. This event is part of a family fun day organised by the Penkridge Round Table, which also include a kids fun run. The route is flat and an out and back run, and it's a prime 10K if you're after a PB, or equally it's just as good if it's your first 10K. So if you want a 10K PB and an excellent medal, be quick because this event sold out at 600 runners. July the 3rd, marathon number 7, finished in 4 hours and 24 minutes. There's the choice of 1 loop, which is 8 miles, 2 loops, which is 16 miles, or 3 loops, which is the marathon route. This How Hard Can It Be event starts and finishes at the Unicornian in Telford. This route takes you around the Ironbridge area in Shropshire. It has a 9 AM start and it's a mixture of tracks and paths, so road shoes are fine for this event. And at the end you get a great poo medal. Next up is marathon number 8, the Pennine Trail Marathon. This one is the toughest one I've run so far, and it took me 5 hours and 35 minutes to complete this one. With the 9 AM start, this marathon takes you over some scenic but very tough and hilly terrain. But with that being said, this is a beautiful, lovely scenic run, which starts and finishes in Worsthorne in Burnley. It does follow mainly gravel tracks, and I wore road shoes, but next time I think trail shoes would be better. This trail run has a mandatory kit list that you have to carry with you on this race. Waterproof jacket, trousers, hat, gloves, long sleeve, base layer, a minimum of 1 litre of liquid, food and a map of the route. Number 9, the Bumble Bee Challenge in Exmouth, Devon. Laura, I and the boys got there the day before, so once we were set up, we were off to the RNLI lifeboat station where we had a tour of the station. If you are ever in the area, I'd highly recommend this tour. They take you all the way around the station, talking you through everything that they do. And also, don't forget to visit the souvenir shop at the end. Once the tour was complete, it was off to the beach for some more exploring and digging some big holes in the sand. Now on to the run. Participants have 7 hours to run as far as they can on a 5.277 kilometre lap on an out and back route on a disused railway line. Hillary and I ran 30 miles in 5 hours and 17 minutes. This was Hillary's furthest ever run. On the way home the next day, we surprised the boys with a visit to the Tank Museum in Bovington, home to the world's best collection of tanks. The collection traces the history of tanks, with almost 300 vehicles on display. It includes a Tiger 131 tank, the only working example of a German Tiger tank. They also have a British First World War Mark I tank, which is the world's oldest surviving combat tank. If you are ever in the area, I'd highly recommend visiting this museum. Number 10, Chester Marathon in 4 hours and 24 minutes. Laura and I got there the day before. We had a leisurely stroll around town, walked the city walls and had a look around the old castle. Firstly, I'd like to say a big thank you to Ben for gifting me his place as he couldn't run it this year. I started running this one with Beth James and Lee D, and I think Lee went on to run a PB here at this marathon. This superb route is all on road and starts at Chester Racecourse. This 1 loop marathon dips in and out of Wales midway around before heading back towards the finish. This marathon runs alongside the metric marathon, so if 26.2 miles is too much for you, you can run 26.2 kilometres instead, which is just over 16 miles. This was my penultimate marathon of the year. Marathon Eryri, also known as Snowdonia Marathon, ran in 4 hours and 28 minutes. Whenever we could, we always liked to make a weekend out of these events, so we started off by getting there a day early for a bit of paddleboarding on the lake. The weather was kind to us this year, and we were able to get out and do a bit of exploring. This was my 6th Snowdonia Marathon in total, and it has become my favourite of all time. The hilly route is mostly on road, but has some off-road sections, the second of which can be treacherous if wet. You'll see why it's my favourite because of the scenery. Upon completion, you always get a great t-shirt and a Welsh slate coaster. And here it is, the last marathon of the year, the November Nightmare, in 4 hours and 34 minutes. As I did 2 marathons in October, this one was my 12th and final marathon of the year. This one's another 3-lap marathon from the Unicorn Inn in Telford, running alongside the banks of the River Severn and over the Iron Bridge 3 times. This event is run over 8 days. This means you can run a marathon each day for 8 days, or you can just run any one day in particular that you fancy. Our last event of the year, the Wheaton Aston10K, we ran it together, Laura and I, in 1 hour and 5 minutes. This run always lands on the 27th of December. It's a great local run to us, which keeps us ticking over in between Christmas and New Year. With 400 competitors each year, this is a fast course and very often sells out quickly. To end up, I've got to say a big thank you to Laura for all her support during these challenges this past year. I'd have never have done this without her. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe, it really helps. Also, if you have any questions about any of the events, please ask them in the comments.